Jesse Hill here from Tier 3 IT Solutions. We're here to help. If your business has computers, servers, and other technology, you probably have someone who helps you understand your options. They help you install and set up those devices and probably help you fix problems as they come up. Most of the time, they're probably doing a pretty decent job. But what's the difference between a computer guy and an IT professional? I'm going to answer this question by telling a story about a business that we met earlier this year. This organization had just gone through a change in management, and one of the existing staff recommended that the new manager chat with us. When I went into the meeting, there didn't seem to be a strong desire or a need to change IT providers. Things were working okay. They would have liked a faster response time, but for what they were paying, they were content. We had never worked with this client, but we had a lot of experience with other businesses in their industry. So we offered to give the new management team an understanding of the technology that was in place. Our network assessment is designed to review their current equipment, their security policies, their configurations, their processes, their procedures, and then we compare it against other businesses in their industry, against software recommendations, and general IT best practices. When we're done, we put it all into a report that we review with the management so that they know where their technology stands. The management team thought this was a good idea, so we got started. This particular business is in the hospitality industry and had operations in 2 separate physical locations. The second location had users who were connecting by remote desktop connection to the main office. They had a restaurant, a store, administrative staff, and conference facilities. They had purchased a new server about a year ago along with a fancy firewall. And for all intents and purposes, the computers and the network were working fine. We ran the assessment on a Wednesday morning, and it didn't take long to start realizing that things were not what they seemed. Some of the results that I was seeing were ringing alarm bells for us, but I needed to collect all of the data before we could stake our name on the findings. As the day went on, I became more concerned. And although they weren't a client of ours, and we weren't there to solve problems at the time, I had to address the most obvious issue. They had no backup whatsoever. This was particularly alarming because when I had asked the managers, they assured me that their IT person was running a backup off-site daily. However, they couldn't show me any reports, and through all of the assessment, we couldn't find a single backup software, no log files or storage that would indicate that a backup was being run. And trust me, we looked, and then we looked again. We immediately installed our backup solution and expedited the results meeting for Friday morning, and off I went to review the in-depth results. When we started reviewing the findings of our assessment, we continued to find massive problems. They still had a couple of Windows XP computers on the network, almost 4 years after Microsoft had stopped patching and supporting that operating system. This was leaving the business exposed to all kinds of potential vulnerabilities. They had computers with no antivirus software at all, including the servers. The rest of the computers that did have antivirus were running free, unmanaged solutions. There were over 20 user accounts active on their network that hadn't been logged into and used in at least 30 days. Some of them had been there for years. These accounts belonged to ex-staff members and other support people that potentially still allowed them access to the network. Those remote workers we told you about, well, we found out that the computers that they were using were set up to log in to the server remotely without even requiring a password. And it gave them direct remote access to the server with full administrative rights. Not only that, but these computers were left totally unattended for most of the week, potentially giving anyone access to the network, the server, to do, change, delete, add whatever they might like. That server that they had just bought a year ago, well, it wasn't configured properly, and neither was the firewall. In fact, they had recorded over 29,000 failed login attempts on their server in just the last month. This was a disaster waiting to happen that they had no idea about. Their computer guy had left them vulnerable, and it was only a matter of time until they were taken offline in a big way. Most of the time, changing IT providers is a decision that takes a while. But in this case, the management team acted appropriately and engaged us immediately to resolve these issues and to take on the ongoing security and management of their network. We invested over 100 hours into rebuilding their server, replacing their firewall and access points, configuring proper security protocols, securing their network, training their staff, and giving them the peace of mind that they are protected. It was so obvious that their previous tech support person had no idea what it meant to be an IT professional. If you're in business and are unsure about the health and security of your network, reach out to a reputable IT company to do a thorough assessment on your behalf. If you'd like to connect with us, that would be great. You can find us at www.tier3it.ca. Thanks for watching and have a secure day.